Good morning and welcome to ABC News Ghana. This is ABC Headlines. I am Khadija Isifu. Coming up in the headlines. The Asante Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has recommended the strict enforcement of Ghana's existing laws, recognizing Asigiri Abugrau Azoka II as a lawful Boko Naba, describing it as the most critical step toward restoring lasting peace in Boko. President John Dramani Mahama has signaled a key role for Alan Tremantin as Ghana prepares to assume a leadership position within the African Union. We have these and many more coming up shortly. Do stay tuned. On Facebook and on YouTube at ABC News GH_. Now to the details. The Asante Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has recommended the strict enforcement of Ghana's existing laws, recognizing Asigiri Abugrau Azoka II as the lawful Boko Naba, describing it as the most critical step toward restoring lasting peace in Boko and the wider Kusasi traditional area. In his mediation report on the protracted Boko conflict presented to government officials at the Jubilee House, Otumfuo stressed that no chief or traditional authority stands above the constitution or the decisions of the courts. He emphasized that the government must uphold laws duly enacted and affirmed by the Supreme Court until they are lawfully changed or reviewed.
And the laws duly enacted and affirmed by the courts. Accordingly, the laws which recognizes Asigiri Abugrau Azoka must be enforced by the government of the Republic of Ghana until changed in accordance with the 1992 Constitution or reviewed by the Supreme Court of Ghana. The government must enforce the laws and deal sternly with any person challenging the lawful authority of Abugrau Azoka. This is critical to the restoration and maintenance of peace in Kusasi traditional area. I wish to thank you, Mr. President, and your predecessor for reposing such confidence in me and tasking me with the mediation of this conflict with a view to finding a lasting solution. I also want to thank the Nairi and the Boko Naba for their efforts relative to this mediation process. The various chiefs or heads of various communities whom I met in the area who also participated in this endeavor deserve positive commendation. I have come to the conclusion that the path to a lasting resolution coincides with the enforcement of the current position of the law by the laws of Ghana and by the Constitution enacted in 1992 and by the position of the Supreme Court that the matter should never be litigated before it again. Asigiri Abugrau Azoka is the lawful chief of Boko and the paramount chief of Kusasi traditional area. He has been a member of the National House of Chiefs for about 40 years. He has been duly gazetted. His right to rule should not be disturbed, save through a judicial and constitutional recognized process, and which, as already indicated, appears, if any, a review of the pronouncement of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Ghana, stated herein. If the pronouncement of the Supreme Court appears not clear enough, remedy may be sought, if available, for clarification of the same by the Supreme Court. Either way, Boko and its environs will be assured of sustainable and enduring peace. Mr. President, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Meanwhile, the Asante Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has stressed that the outcomes of the Boko Peace Mediation Report should be binding on all parties, describing the process as a fact-finding effort aimed solely at restoring lasting peace, not assigning blame. Presenting the report to President John Mahama at the Jubilee House on Tuesday, December 16, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II stated that his role was not to arbitrate or pronounce judgment, but to facilitate a traditional mediation whose findings should guide national action toward peace.
Like I said, it was a mediation. It wasn't an arbitration, and I'm not here, as I said, to say that this one was wrong or this one. I'll present the facts as they are. And that's what it should be binding on all of us, whoever is there. I've spoken to before I came yesterday, I was on the phone for more than with my brother, the Nairi, explaining the circumstances to him in terms of the decision I took. And I have spoken to the Bokunaba, taking time all these periods to be speaking to everybody about it. The governments of the new Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and President John Dramani Mahama, asked me to use my traditional mediation mechanisms to find an amicable solution to the situation in Boko, which both governments shall enforce. But before I continue, please, I said to the President, bear with me to read through all the report, because I don't want a situation where it will be said that they've doctored what I brought. So we have to read what I wrote so that everybody, my brother, the Nairi, and my son, the Bokunaba, will all know that.
Still on this, government has committed to issuing its definite position on the Boko Peace Mediation report within the next 24 hours. President John Mahama announced it at the official presentation ceremony by the Asante Henry Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II. The president made the pledge in his address following the symbolic handover of the report by the king who led the mediation process. While committing to a swift governmental response, President Mahama simultaneously called for the mediation effort to transition into a new sustained phase of direct reconciliation.
We have come to the end of that journey, and we're embarking on the next leg of the journey. And as he himself said, this was not an arbitration. An arbitration normally will make an award on who is right and who is wrong. This was a mediation, and the next leg of the journey is to reconcile our two brothers and sisters from the Kusasi and the Mamprosi side. This conflict is not winnable militarily. No side can vanquish the other. Boko is important to us because it is in the extreme northeast corner of our country. And we all know what is happening just across the border from Boko. In all the national security reports that I receive, there is urgency put on settling and bringing peace to Boko so that we can safeguard our whole northern border from the terrorist armed groups that are operating in our northern neighbor Burkina Faso. And so the end of this mediation gives us the opportunity to see what the way forward is in terms of bringing peace and calm. Boko has the potential to be one of the most vibrant commercial centers in our country, and indeed it has been a center of trade. And a lot of people in Boko have prospered, whether they are Mamprosis or they are Kusasis. Unfortunately, this conflict has turned the fortunes of Boko. Teachers refuse to be posted there, doctors refuse to be posted there, civil servants are leaving, we're doing national service postings, and we have suspended posting national servicemen and women to Boko because we cannot guarantee their safety. And so I'm pleased that Otumfuo's mediation has come to an end and that he has presented a report. And I can assure him that government would look at this report, and within the next 24 hours, government will issue a statement.
Now, away from the Boko conflict mediation, motorists in Ghana will from January 1, 2026 be required to present their Ghana card when purchasing or renewing any motor insurance policy, according to the National Insurance Commission. The Commission, in a statement signed by the Acting Commissioner of Insurance, Dr. Abiba Zakaria, explained that the measure forms part of effort to strengthen regulation and transparency within the insurance sector. Under the new requirement, all individuals buying motor insurance must provide their Ghana card at the point of sale, while corporate clients will additionally be required to submit their tax identification number, for all motor insurance transactions. The NIC also added that the policy is expected to improve the handling of insurance claims, enhance know your customer and anti-money laundering compliance, reduce fraudulent activities, and align Ghana's insurance industry with global financial services standards. The Commission urged all motorists to take note of the new requirements and ensure they have their Ghana card available when visiting motor insurance sales points from the effective date. The minority in Parliament has raised concerns over the Bank of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025, which proposes significant changes to the governance structure of the central bank. The bill seeks to extend the tenure of members of the Bank of Ghana's governing board from 4 to 5 years and remove members of Parliament from the management board. It also mandates the central bank to set the medium-term inflation target jointly with the government. Contributing to the debate on the floor of Parliament, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin and the Member of Parliament for Inshaeso, Dr. Stephen Amwa, cautioned that the proposed amendment could undermine transparency and accountability at the Bank of Ghana. They argue that the changes would weaken parliamentary oversight while concentrating excessive influence in the hands of the executive. Still in Parliament, minority members in the House minority members on Parliament's Trade and Industry Committee have raised concerns over the shortage of raw rubber for local manufacturers, warning that the situation is posing a serious threat to industrial output and employment. Speaking to journalists on Tuesday, December 16, 2025, the ranking member on the committee, Michael Ochre Befi, accused the Tree Crop Development Authority of prioritizing exporters of raw rubber at the expense of domestic processors.
The rubber companies in this country are made up of about 5 or 6 companies. Ghana Rubber Estates, Narobis and other companies. They find it difficult in getting rubber to process. It will interest you to note that some of them have even lost contract with big tire manufacturing companies in the world. As it stands now, Ghana Rubber Estates deals with only Michelin, and they have even reduced the contract, the quantum of the contract, and they've even cancelled the contractual arrangement with Penile, which is one of the biggest tire manufacturing companies in Ghana, and it's a problem. Tree Crop Development Authority is now siding with those who come to the farm gate to buy and export raw, to the detriment of those who have established factories in Ghana, so that they cannot even get rubbers to process. As it stands now, most of the processors have even reduced the number of staff they have. They've cut down employment. Ghana Rubber Estate used to employ more than 4,600 workers. Now they are doing about 3,000. And that one, they have been running shifts. Sometimes they have to close their home. Not that they don't have machines to produce, not that they don't have money, but they don't have rubber to process. I mean, it is going to affect jobs. People are not going to, now they cannot employ people that they're supposed to employ, because they are supposed to employ close to about 20,000 workers, in the industry now. But they are doing.
In more news, President John Dramani Mahama has signaled a key role for Alan Kyerematen as Ghana prepares to resume a leadership position within the African Union, following his endorsement by West African leaders as the next chairperson of the continental body in 2027. The endorsement secured over the weekend from ECOWAS heads of state positions Ghana to play a more influential role in shaping Africa's political and socio-economic agenda. Speaking on behalf of the president at the African Summit convened by Alan Kyerematen in Accra, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, said the endorsement makes the timing of the summit particularly strategic. According to Ablakwa, President Mahama believes the ideas and policy direction emerging from the summit will be critical as Ghana prepares for continental leadership.
And as you do know, we had very, very good news over the weekend from ECOWAS. All the West African presidents endorsed him as the next African Union chairperson in 2027. So this convening, it's very timely and very fortuitous, and he will be looking forward to the report so that he can hit the ground running in 2027 when he becomes the chairperson of the African Union. And he has asked me to tell our convener, the Honorable John Alan Kwejo-Tramantin, that he will have a very special place when he becomes AU chairperson because of the work he is doing. So we are definitely going to need the expertise, the experience, and this very reputable organization, the Honorable John Alan Kwejo-Tramantin.
That's how we wrap up with the headlines this morning. For more news, visit our website at www.abcnewsgh.com and follow us on our socials at abcnewsgh_. ABC in the Morning comes up next with Abna Mante. I am Khadija Isifu. Do have a nice day.